I am Bhargavi Trivedi, and in this video I will be covering air-lift bioreactor. There are so many different types of bioreactors that are available. So we are going to learn regarding the concept of the air-lift bioreactor in this video. And if you don't know even the A, B, C, D of bioreactor, please watch the entire video. At least you can learn a bit regarding the bioreactor. Don't worry, just go with the flow and you will learn something. Okay, this is a part of paper BT 302 Biochemical Engineering Unit 1 Bioreactor Design Semester 1. Now before jumping to the air-lift bioreactor, let's understand what was the concept of the bioreactor. Now you have seen this giant big instrument while you had the industrial visit or of any pharma company or anywhere, or while you were going to some place during your journey. Okay, so this tall like building like structure, they are known as bioreactors. Now why you require bioreactors? Because they provide the controlled conditions, and that too in the aseptic way. Okay, for example, if you are using yeast, okay, any strain of yeast for the production of bioethanol from, let's say, glucose. Okay, so you are producing bioethanol. So can I say it is my end product, right? Using each strain. So you don't want any other bacteria to contaminate it or any other fungus to contaminate it. So that means you require the aseptic conditions, and that is provided by this bioreactor. Now please don't get confused between the term bioreactor and fermenter. Previously fermenter term was used, but students get confused that when they heard the fermenter, that means that there is no aerobic conditions that is prevailing, but it is not so. There are products that are formed because of the aerobic conditions only. In order to avoid that confusions, nowadays by fermenter term is replaced by bioreactor. So it leads to both aerobic and aerobic conditions. Okay, I hope it is clear to here. And please don't be under confusion that only microorganisms are used. As we have seen for the example of the yeast, you can also use plant cells, you can also use animal cells, or you can also use human cells for the production of any product. Now, why you need the bioreactor? As we have seen that it provides specific environment for the growth of the cell. For example, if you want to maintain the condition of pH 7.4 in that reactor, so there are control systems which will make sure that the pH will remain 7.4, because the stream that you are using for the production of certain product will work efficiently, will work on will work at the optimum pH of 7.4 only. So that task is done by the bioreactor. That's why you need the bioreactor, and not just pH, but there are many other parameters that are controlled by the bioreactor. Okay, now let's start with the explanation of the air-lift bioreactor. Now you have, as you see here, the term air-lift bioreactor. Air. Okay, so there is something, air is going to lift everything. Okay, inside the bioreactor itself. Now you have learned regarding the stir tank reactors in the previous video, and if you have not watched the video, please go through the video. I request you, otherwise it will be quite confusing for you. You have seen these stir tank bioreactors, like in which the continuous stirring is taking place. But what happens because of this continuous stirring? The microorganisms which are very sensitive, they get shear forces, because of which they inhibit the product formation, because in a way it inhibits the growth of the microorganisms, which in turn inhibits in some way the last product formation. So you don't require that excessive shear force because of the impellers and the different types of impeller speed that we have used. So what you are going to do then you are going to use the air-lift bioreactor, because in that no mechanical stirring is taking place. How it is, so we are going to see it in the previous slide, but let's understand the basic concepts of this. Okay, now there is no mechanical mixing that is taking place. That means shear stress is reduced, and there is no heat generation. Why no heat generation? Because that mixing is taking place because of the motor. Okay, and it leads to the heat generation also. That's why you can use the airlift for those products which require the less heat formation. Okay, now this airlift system is similar to bubble column reactors, but there is a little bit difference over here. There will be a concept of draft tube which we will see in further slides, which is not there in the bubble column reactor. Let's see first the example of the bubble column. You see, this is the bubble column and this is the sparger. You have seen that with the help of the sparger, the bubbles they come out. The same that you see in the aquarium. Okay, the small aquarium has that bubbling out so that the fish can have the oxygen. In the same way, the sparger is there. So it is going to provide the oxygen. Bubbles, they are going to rise up, but there is no mixing actually that is taking place. Okay, that mixing we will see it in the airlift bioreactor. So let's get started with it. Now, in the let's see the design part. It has the riser part and the downcomer part. I will teach you how. You can see this one and these two linings over here. Actually, it is considered as the draft tube. Okay. Now, actually, it is not tube-like structure, but they are the baffles that are kept over here. We have learned that mainly the baffles are in here in the sideways, but actually they are placed it over there. The baffles like structure is kept it over there. So what will happen? The innermost region you can see over here. Let me use the spotlight. The innermost region, it is considered as the inert gas region, riser, because something is going to rise it from here. And the outer, this outer portion is considered as the downcomer, because when the things go up, then they fall down. So when they are falling down, when they are coming down, it is considered as the downcomer. So hope it is clear till here. Now let's see what has riser has gas injection. Gas injections means what? The figure number 5. That means the oxygen, the sparger is supplied to there so that the oxygen can go up over here. Okay. So the gas will be rising it from here. That's why it is said as riser. And once it will reach the top of the tube, then it will fall down. So you can see that the entire thing, the entire medium is getting lifted up. So it is getting mixed up in a way. Hope it is clear till here. Now there is a density gradient that is taking place in the outside region and the inside region. That's why the mixing takes place on it. I hope the main basic concept of that is clear till now. Let's see the parts. As we have seen the riser tube, the downcomer tube, the base. You have seen the base in which the sparger, or you can say perforated nozzle valve, is connected. The headspace. You have seen the headspace region. That means no working volume should not reach there, otherwise it will reach to the contamination. Then you have the gas separator space, which also falls in the head space. Again, let me repeat it. This is the working space. Now, there are two types of mixing that is taking place. Based on this, they are classified. So, first is the internal loop ALR. ALR means air lift reactor. The internal loop ALR are of two types. One is the split ALR and another one is the concentric ALR. So, as you can see, there is a single tube that is over here. In the last one we have seen that that was the reactors and there were two separators that were there, but here there is, you can see it is only one, so it will go from here and then it will fall down from here. Okay, so internal mixing is taking place. Here the word is concentric. Now you have learned the word of understand one concept of concentric circles. So this type of circles, they are termed as concentric. So in the similar way, if you can see it over here, the tube is over here and the mixing is taking place inside and this way. Okay, inside and the outside. I hope it is clear till here. Now you have external loop reactor. Okay, so the design will be in such a way that it has to travel a certain distance. Okay, so here from here it will be gone out externally and it is forming here. In the previous, there you have seen that there is no external movement that is taking place. Okay, so that's why it is termed as external loop reactor. The same concept again shown with the different diagrams. Now there is something that is known as two stages tariff reactor. This concept is important when you are dealing with the temperature dependent product. Okay, so as you can see, this is the one stage and this is the second stage. We will understand it now. Okay, so in the one cells, the cells are maintained at another temperature. Let's say it is maintaining at 30 degrees Celsius temperature. And then by using the pump, they are send it to the another reactor where the temperature is maintained at 42 degrees Celsius. Now, why it is so? Because sometimes what happens that, for example, if the cells want to grow, divide, so it will require a certain temperature. For example, here it requires 30 degrees. But if you want to make product of it, then you will require something or some another temperature. For example, 42 degrees Celsius. So if you want to grow, you can grow it at 30 degrees, and if you want the product out of it, then you have to take it at 42 degrees Celsius temperature. Okay, the degrees of the temperature, they are just for the understanding purpose only, and for bringing them into the another, there is a pump that is kept over here. Okay, and the main advantages is that the as it is mixing, so it is resulting into the homogeneity of the medium. Very simple design with no moving parts, so there is no agitation, so there is no point of maintenance. Easy to sterilize, low energy requirement. Why low energy? Because in the stirred tank reactors we require motors, so motor will consume more power. But there are certain disadvantages. The one is greater air throughput and high pressures are needed. Inefficient break the foam when the foaming occurs, and no bubble breaker is there. The applications is when mammalian cell cultures are used, because mammalian cells, they are very delicate in nature. You cannot use the shear forces because of the impellers for breaking it. Then you can use it for the wastewater treatment, for the biological processes involving biocatalysis as solids to produce biopharma proteins, etc. from the fragile cells. And that's all for the airlift bioreactors. If you have more questions, please email me your questions on my mail ID bhargavi.trivedi.lgis.lginstitute.edu.in. I will be happy to help you. Thank you. Thanks for watching.